What is up, movie buffs? It's your boy, Box Office Ricky, and today we are talking Mortal Kombat 2, and yes, we are finally getting to the tournament. So let's get into the history before we dive into my review, because this movie has had quite a journey to get here. The original Mortal Kombat reboot dropped in April 2021, and while the reviews were mixed, the fans did show up for that one. It became one of the biggest streaming launches in HBO Max's history at the time, so Warner Brothers got to work on a sequel almost immediately. By 2022, the green light was official. Same director, Simon McQuoid, back behind the camera with Jeremy Slater writing the script. Film kicked off in June 2023 at Village Roadshow Studios in Gold Coast, Australia. And then just a few weeks in, the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike hit. Production shut down completely in July, sat on ice for months, and then didn't resume until November 2023. They finally wrapped in January 2024. So by the time cameras stopped rolling, this movie had been through the ringer. Originally, it was set to drop in October 2025, but Warner Brothers made a strategic call to push it to May 2026, banking on a stronger summer box office window. And that Red Band trailer. Over 107 million views worldwide. The people were ready for it. And as for what the movie's actually about, the champions of the Earth realm, can't speak today. The champions of the Earth realm, now joined by Johnny Cage, are thrown into a brutal interdimensional tournament and forced to battle each other as they try to stop the tyrannical Emperor Shao Kahn from conquering their world. The story was always planned this way. Co-creator Greg Russo from the beginning that he saw the franchise as a trilogy, the first film set before the tournament, the second during it, and the third after. So Mortal Kombat 2 is basically the middle chapter, and the only one fans have been waiting for, the one that fans have been waiting for the most. So let me get into my actual review, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. At the very beginning of this film, I felt myself starting to get a little bit frustrated. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and you start asking yourself, how do we get from point A to point B, and nothing really quite adds up. Yeah, I had quite a little bit of that. This movie felt a little bit sometimes like a Fast and Furious franchise. Is one where if you start pulling on the thread of the story, it starts to, you start demanding that everyone make perfect logical sense, and you're just gonna have a rough time with that. And that's where I started to realize, you know what, that's not what this movie is for. You're here for one thing, and once the action kicks in, once the fight sequences start rolling, and the tournament actually starts happening, I finally started to let go into it. And I leaned back and I just had an absolute blast. And that is the right way to watch Mortal Kombat 2. What makes this movie so much better than the first one, significantly better, is that it understands the assignment. The whole soul of the Mortal Kombat franchise as a franchise is people facing off one-to-one in epic fights. That's what you do in the game. That's exactly what you want to see on screen. And this movie finally gives you that. You get fighters going head to head, you get the fatalities, you get the stages, and it genuinely feels like the people who made this film had real reverence for the source material. Like they actually cared. The world building is solid, the energy's right, and there are moments in this film where you are gonna say out loud, yes, this is Mortal Kombat. And let me speak about another note. I'm gonna kind of get a little bit negative here. I love Karl Urban. The man is talented. The boys, Dread. The guy has range. But as Johnny Cage, I thought he just felt like just okay to me. He wasn't bad by any means. He just never fully grabbed me the way I wanted Johnny Cage to. For a character who's supposed to be the big, bad, loud, over-the-top personality, I just wanted a little more from him. Maybe it's the writing, maybe it's the direction, but Karl Urban felt like he was playing a little bit safe in this movie that is anything but safe. And, I hope if there's a third film, and yes, there's one in development, they let him fully off the leash. That said, the characters are overall doing solid work. I never, not once, felt bored. That one, that alone puts this movie leagues ahead of the first one for me. Now, I do have another criticism, and this is a small, mild spoiler. It's just a stupid, small thing. So if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and skip ahead 10 seconds. My issue is with the Scorpion and Sub-Zero costumes. They take some creative liberties with how those characters look, and I just generally felt, you know, they were going for more grittier, more cinematic. But in my heart, I wanted to see Sub-Zero in that classic blue and Scorpion in that iconic yellow, just like the games. That's a small thing, but for the purists out there, I see it, and you may feel that way too. But that is only my minor critique. What is overall generally an awesome film, action-packed video game love letter of a film. My verdict is, if you are a Mortal Kombat fan, go see this film. If you love action films and just want to have a good time, go see this movie. Check your brain at the door, strap in, and enjoy the tournament that we have been waiting 5 years for. Mortal Kombat 2. They finally got it right. As always, movie buffs, thank you so much for watching. And like I always say, in a world where you could be anything, why not be kind to each other? Take care. See you soon.